everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday number 163 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got good old Core Set 2019, good old in heavy air quotes. We're going to crack this pack open, we're going to see what's in it, and we're going to see what we would take, pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. Now this is a sponsored draft. If you are a Patreon backer at the $5 level or above, you get a chance to get all these cards, or none of the cards if they're all garbage and you don't want them, or just some of them. And this week's patron is Michael. So Michael will be getting some amount or no amount of these cards. It's up to him. Up first, however, we have a Trumpet Blast. Trumpet Blast is 2 and a red for an instant. Attacking creatures get +2 and +0 until end of turn. Never, ever, forever first pick. You know the decks that want these, and those decks can get these. You don't first pick it. Up next is Revitalize. 1 away for an instant. You gain 3 life. You draw a card. You should never first pick this. You should never play this. Basically, period. Even in the life gain decks, there are better cards that you would be infinitely more happy with than this one. Up next is Frilled Sea Serpent. Frilled Sea Serpent is 4 blue for a creature serpent. It's a 4/6, pay 5 blue. Frilled Sea Serpent can't be blocked this turn. Not the best card. If you are in a controlling deck and you didn't quite get a bomb, this can be a finisher, but you're hoping to not have to play this, and you're certainly never, ever first picking it. Up next is Infectious Horror. Infectious Horror is 3 and a black for a creature zombie horror. It's a 2/2, and whenever it attacks, your opponent loses 2 life. So it attacks kind of like a 4/2, just doesn't trade like a 4/2. This is not good. This is a card that you really never, ever want to be playing. Maybe if you're going deep on like mono black Liliana or something, possibly, but otherwise absolutely not, and never, ever a first pick. Up next is Highland Game. Highland Game is 1 and a green for a creature elk. It's a 2/1. When Highland Game dies, I guess whenever it does, you gain 2 life. Yeah, it's an okay card. Green decks are usually okay playing this, but it is a very filler card. You would be equally okay not playing this card, and certainly never, ever a first pick. Up next is Boggart Brute. Boggart Brute is 2 and a red for a creature goblin warrior. It's a 3/2 and it's got menace. Boggart Brute's great. Boggart Brute is exactly what a red deck wants. It's totally fine. It is on the very low end of potentially first pickable cards. I could first pick this and I wouldn't feel horrifyingly bad first picking it. I would just feel normally bad. It's going to hang out in frame though, because it's currently the first pick. Up next is Invoke the Divine. Invoke the Divine is 2 and a white for an instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 4 life. I'm still not super into playing these main deck. I still prefer them to be in the sideboard. I'd rather play a relevant card in every matchup, let alone, or not necessarily a card that's relevant not in every matchup. So Invoke the Divine, never ever a first pick, and in my case, in my opinion, still a sideboard only card. Up next is Pegasus Courser. Pegasus Courser is 2 and a white. Throwing all the cards around here. Pegasus Courser is 2 and a white for a creature Pegasus. It's a 1/3 flyer. Whenever it attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Courser's great. Again, it's on the very low end of first pickable. I think I do prefer the Boggart Brute ever so slightly, but this can really end games if paired up with a big green creature or something. Solid card. I guess we can have it hang out in frame, but hopefully the pack gets better. Certainly hasn't gotten better yet. Field Creeper is 2 generic mana for an artifact creature Scarecrow. It's a 2/1, and that's it. This is not a card that you terribly want to be playing ever if you can really handle it, and certainly never a first pick. Up next, our final common is Aviation Pioneer. 2 and a blue for a creature human artificer. She's a 1/2, and when she ETBs, you get yourself a 1/1 flying Thopter token. She's fine. She's totally fine. Again, I think she's on the lower end. All these 3-drop commons, I think, are on the lower end of first pickable. You're not going to hate yourself if you first pick them. So I think she could possibly hang out in frame as well, but let's hope these uncommons kind of get a little bit better. Well, not yet. Bone to Ash. Bone to Ash is 2 blue for an instant. Counter target creature spell. Draw a card. One of the weaker counter spells in the set. It's 4 mana, which is very difficult to keep up. Drawing a card is nice, but that's not quite enough for 4 mana. I have played this, and I will play this again in heavy control decks, but that's about it. In comparison to something like Essence Scatter, which is arguably just the best blue common, period, and should be in every blue deck, Bone to Ash doesn't quite make it there, and I don't think I pick it over any of these. Tectonic Rift, similarly not knocking out these 3-drop commons. Tectonic Rift is 3 and a red for a sorcery. Destroy target land. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. This will, of course, just end games, but it does literally nothing else except for end games. If you are not ending a game, this card is just not doing enough at all, period. It's so variable. It can, of course, go into those go wide red-white decks, but I think the Anthem effects are just infinitely better than Tectonic Rift is. So I'm never first picking it, and I actually haven't played it yet. Our final uncommon, hey, look at that. We actually get a good card. Our final uncommon is Dryad Greenseeker. Dryad Greenseeker is 1 and a green for a creature, Dryad at uncommon. It's a 1/3, tap it, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Greenseeker is great. The value that you get off Dryad Greenseeker is just insane. This is actually a card that should eat removal pretty regularly. Left unchecked, there's just way too much value in this card, so much so that I kind of would prefer this at rare. It's not quite powerful enough to be a rare, but man, does this get you value. So currently, definitely the first pick. It's going to be up to the rare to switch that. And the rare is one that I despise, Prodigious Growth, 4 green for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +7/+7 and gains trample, or has trample rather. This card's stupid. This card is a real front runner for one of the cards that I think ruins the format. It's one of the cards where you're having a totally fun game of Magic, and then it's over because somebody played this card, and the person who is nearly dead may end the game because suddenly they have a 7/7 trampler with haste in addition to whatever power the creature already had by itself. This card is stupid. There's 17 billion ways to stop it, but you have to have that way of stopping it basically on turn 0 because this does get to swing in the second it's played. Yeah, Prodigious Growth is ludicrously obnoxious. I still refuse to really say that it's good because, like I said, there's 17 billion ways of blowing an opponent out who plays this card. But you've got to have them immediately or else this thing is just dumb. Still, I think I'm just taking Dryad Greenseeker. It's just always going to be good. Prodigious Growth, you've got to get to 6 mana, you've got to have a creature, you've got to be able to attack, although you should be able to attack with this. It's stupid, but Greenseeker is just so much better. So Greenseeker is my clear first pick here. I don't even think it's a conversation, but if you would go for the Prodigious Growth or something else, definitely let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeek, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeek. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.